Well, thanks everyone for coming in. And I know I met with my team for several days about this, getting into what we really wanted to discuss here. And it's not as much of what we want to discuss. We're prepared for that, but I really want to kind of dive into a little bit on what's important to you. I mean, I'm sure everyone's got a lot of nutrition questions. I get hit with it all the time. Things about rest and recovery. What do I eat before a round? What do I eat during a round? If you're a competitive player, it might be something that we need to look into a little bit more. Even if it's working for you, I'm always about maximizing. I'm also always about realizing that not everyone isn't extremely competitive on the course, and we have to deal with what we have in here from on an individual basis. So introducing, this is our head teaching pro, Mark Braziller. Mark's been at West Hampton. He's been with us for 5 years. He's over at West Hampton. And this is someone that I think you're all going to be very interested in, Steve Macari. Steve has been our nutritionist here for some time. We've been open for about 9 years, and I think it took me 7.5 years to find him because I've been such a nutrition fanatic that I'm the extreme case. But Steve does a great job in dealing with every individual, and I want you guys to ask him questions afterwards. Jump around a little bit. Let's have some fun. If you guys want to interrupt. I'm all for it. I want everyone leaving here with a better understanding of what it is you want to leave here with, if that makes any sense. So my brother and I opened Drive 9 years ago. And it's funny how the business has evolved a lot. We initially came in here as just a golf fitness program. And what we realized is that golf fitness, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, it's not golf fitness. It's about creating a better athlete. It's about turning around and looking at an individual and seeing how they move downstairs and then figuring out how that goes with their inabilities or inefficiencies in the golf swing. So I'm sorry to pick on you, but if you come into me and you have a difficult time deep squatting and in your swing we're looking at some early extension, probably one is related to the other. Now that's not saying that I haven't seen incredible players in here swing a club phenomenally and I would look at their functional movement screen, it's a complete disaster. No, I may not pick up on it right there. It might show up on hole number 11 or 12, or I think people are notorious for their bodies giving out on them later on in the round. So golf fitness to us is more about looking at the individual and creating the best athlete possible. What is a golf-specific exercise? A golf-specific exercise can be a deadlift. It could be a deep squat. Yes, we'll have people in here in their 60s and 70s that we have, in 80 years old, that we have conditioned to deadlift heavy because we have developed them to the point where they can move properly. And with a golfer, I call it controlled aggression. If we can get someone more flexible than they've ever been, but as strong as they've ever been, why is that a bad thing, right? Does it make any sense? Like, if we can develop power but not lose flexibility, is that really a bad thing? But the reality is that people, they time this misconception, or they might look at someone like me, oh, he can't swing a golf club, or he can't, he's too muscular, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not the case. It's been this huge misconception, and we have seen that we're getting athletes stronger and getting them swinging better on the golf course. I don't know if you want to dive in on a little bit of what you look at.
I mean, I think you hit on all the right points there. I think so much of, you've probably all seen the TPI show on Golf Channel, where you see a lot of movements that resemble stuff we do in the swing with pulleys and things like that. I think that the truth of golf fitness and what you guys have seen is, like Don said, this strength and flexibility is good for everything. Most of my students work with a trainer downstairs, whether it be Don or somebody else, and the back and forth we have is really simple. I don't necessarily look for physical flaws, and if I see early extension, I'm going to work on it just like I would if I didn't have a gym downstairs. But the ability we have is, if I see something like that, and we're working at it, and we're trying all the tricks to stay in posture, swinging with their butt on a pole over here or something, and if we can't get it, it's always worth mentioning to their trainer, and maybe the trainer sees something physically that causes that, and It's just it's a total approach. And
I'm going to get off this topic in a minute, but I wish there was a magical golf exercise. It would only benefit my brother and I if it was golf specific. If it was, we had a list of secret exercises that we can bring everyone in here, and that's how we've evolved a lot. 8, 9 years ago, it might have been, from here, which there's still a little value to it, and now it's. No, the majority of the people coming to us, no, they're not the Morgan Hoffmans, or they're not the Keegan Bradleys, or the guys that move really great. Who do we deal with? We deal with, ages 35 to 60 and older, and people who are sitting in a chair a lot during the day, and people who have back problems or might be standing on the range in this position here, to where now we're developing an asymmetry in the body. And don't be shy here. How many people, and I want you to raise your hand, have some type of a pain or discomfort at a specific time during their day? So, this high performance model, it really comes down to us looking at the individual and getting you pain free. Once we get you pain free, then we develop strength and power. And the way it becomes golf specific is from us working with you guys. And it's very common for maybe a Jim Smoot or an Aaron to send a client into us, and we work on them, and then we call them up over the phone, and we say, well, what is it you're trying to get this guy to do? This is what we found out in the golf swing. This is what we recommend they need to work on. To us, that's golf specific. A huge portion of this equation is rest and recovery. Supplementation, you can also add to that. But anyone here still a little confused about what to eat on the golf course or what to have pre-round? There's been so many different things out there. What's up, Daryl? Buddy. There's so many. There's so many things out there. Well, do I eat almonds? Do I have bananas? Should I be having jerky? I'm having a PB&J sandwich. I had a tour player call me a few years ago who, before he was on tour, he was on the Nationwide, and he called me up. He's like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. It's like hole 16. I'm breaking out into this sweat. I'm like, well, are you nervous? He's like, no, I'm not nervous. He goes, well, let's go through your nutrition. No, Don, I'm having a really healthy breakfast. I'm like, well, what's your breakfast? And he broke down his breakfast. Like, I'm eating egg whites. I'm eating oatmeal. And I'm like, what time are you having that at? 7 a.m. What time are you getting in the range? 8 a.m. How long are you hitting balls for? An hour. We're at 9 a.m. What time are you teeing off? 9:15. When are you eating next? At the turn. How much time later is that? 2 hours. I'm like, all right, well, you didn't have a good breakfast because you're eating like a bodybuilder. So we're going to dive in. And to be an athlete, we need proper hormone function. You have to get a good amount of fats. If you don't, your body's going to burn right through it. Is your goal to look good with the shirt off, or is your goal to perform better on the golf course and recover properly? This tour player was going 4.5 hours before he was getting something into his system. And what he was getting into his system by the turn was good. But guess what? It was too late. It's too late. He wasn't hydrated properly. He wasn't fueled properly. So his blood sugar by the 16th hole was getting thrown off. And I look like a genius, because I turn around now and I'm like, no, we have to add this to breakfast. I want you eating 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I want you to eat all the way through the round, because if we're going to stop after the round, no, that's not good. Eating after also has to do with our recovery, because you got to come back and you got to repeat it now 3 more days, because it's only Thursday, right? So makes a lot of sense. And not to pat myself on the back, because it wasn't me. He's the one swinging the club, but he made the tour a couple months later. And he called me up. He's like, it was so evident what it was. I can't believe it was that simple. I'm like, dude, it doesn't have to be this complex. Like, it doesn't always have to be like getting someone in the exact angle, or having the exact macros or micros, and feeding them the exact amount of nutrients. And that's kind of what I want you to dive into a little bit right now about the nutrition and stuff like that.